Today, we're going on a journey, a trip through time, really, to unpack the incredible story of artificial intelligence, how a simple, almost impossible dream became the powerful reality that is literally reshaping our world as we speak.
And it all started with this one simple but absolutely massive question. This was first asked way back in 1950 by the legendary mathematician Alan Turing. And this single thought experiment, it was the spark that ignited the entire field of AI. It's the question we've been chasing ever since.
So, what was the actual goal? What were they chasing? Well, this is the heart of it. This was never just about making faster calculators. The real dream was to build a digital mind, something that could actually reason its way through a problem, learn from its mistakes, and maybe even create something brand new. I mean, what an incredible ambition. So here's the roadmap for our story today. And let me tell you, the history of AI is not a straight line of constant progress. No way. It's much more like a drama with four very distinct acts. A hopeful beginning, a really tough period called the winter, a huge comeback, and, well, the age of intelligence that we're all living in right now. Okay, so let's start at the beginning in the 1950s. This was right at the dawn of the computer age, and the air was just filled with this incredible optimism. People really believed that science and technology could solve pretty much anything. And you can see how quickly things started moving. Right after Turing poses his famous question, a group of brilliant scientists get together at Dartmouth College, and they officially coined the term artificial intelligence. And they were not thinking small. Their goal was to create digital minds that could actually rival our own. They honestly thought it was just around the corner. But, of course, every great story needs a little bit of conflict. And for AI, the conflict was, well, it was brutal. After all that early excitement, progress just hit a wall, and the entire field entered a period that everyone now calls the AI winter. And this slide just lays it all out perfectly. The big dream of the 50s just slammed headfirst into the cold, hard reality of the 70s. The computers themselves, they were just way too weak. And the data needed to teach them, there just wasn't enough of it. So as you can imagine, when progress stopped, the funding dried up, and that incredible dream was basically put on ice. But here's the thing. Even during those long, dark decades, the idea itself never really went away. There was this small, dedicated group of researchers who just kept working, quietly, in the background. They were refining the math, building the foundations, just waiting for the technology to finally catch up with their vision. And that brings us to the next act. After decades of that cold winter, the 2000s arrived. And with them came a powerful spring, a great awakening for artificial intelligence. So what happened? What caused this massive comeback? Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was actually the collision of two huge technological revolutions that created the absolute perfect environment for AI to finally take off. And here they are. First, the internet exploded, right? Suddenly, there's this endless ocean of data, text, pictures, videos, which is basically the lifeblood of modern AI. And second, computer power just started growing exponentially. This gave us the muscle to run these incredibly complex systems called neural networks. You can kind of think of them as digital spider webs inspired by our own brains that can spot patterns in all that data that no human ever could. So, with this new fuel and this powerful new engine, AI's abilities took a gigantic leap forward. It went from just crunching numbers to actually perceiving the world a bit like we do. And this kicked off what we now call the deep learning revolution. All of a sudden, things that were pure science fiction became science fact. Machines could translate languages on the fly, pick out a specific face in a crowd of photos, and even master a game like Go, which for centuries was thought to be based purely on human intuition. It was incredible. And that brings us right up to today. We've shot past the awakening, and we are now living deep in the age of intelligence. AI isn't just in a lab somewhere. It's woven into the very fabric of our lives. And its impact is just staggering. It's not just a tool anymore, it's become a partner. I mean, today, AI can write incredibly complex computer code, helping us build the very software that our world runs on. It's also flexing its creative muscles. Engineers are using AI to design things like more efficient car parts, and artists are actually collaborating with it to create visuals that would have been literally impossible just a few years ago. And maybe this is the most important part. It's making a real difference in the fields that matter most. AI algorithms can now look at a medical scan and spot the signs of a disease like cancer with a level of precision that can sometimes even surpass a trained doctor. I mean, that's just amazing. But the thing that truly changes the game, the part that's fundamentally new in all of human history, is the speed. Imagine having an assistant that could read every book ever written in a single afternoon, and then wake up the next morning even smarter. That's the world we're in right now. So where does the story go from here? Well, this last chapter isn't really about history. It's about the future, the one that we are all, right now, writing together. And, maybe this is the best way to think about it. The whole conversation is slowly shifting away from this idea of humans versus machines. Instead, it's becoming about how this new kind of intelligence can work with our own, helping us solve bigger problems and push the boundaries of what's possible. So the next time you use an AI assistant or you see one of those incredible AI-generated images, just take a second to remember this whole story. You're not just interacting with some code. You're connecting with the result of decades of human ambition, of failure, of perseverance, and of just relentless curiosity. And that really brings us to the final thought. This story isn't over, not by a long shot, and we are all characters in its next chapter. So the question isn't if AI will shape our future anymore, it's how, and what role will you play in it?